Good morning. I'm Maria Quattrone, and this is the Be the Solution podcast. And today I welcome my guest, Nicole Marcum Rife. Welcome, Nicole.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I wanted to be in a business that I did not have a ceiling. Take a pen and a piece of paper, draw a line, draw another line next to it. At 365 days, if you drew 365 lines, you started here with one line, but look how far you've come.
Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning.
Great to see your beautiful, smiling face this morning.
I know it's been too long. I'm so excited to be here and be a guest of yours.
Oh, it has been too long. Thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
So it has been a crazy time here in the real estate market, but everybody knows that because the media and all the agents keep complaining about how crazy it is. I think it's a wonderful time, though, because we collectively have an opportunity to serve so many more families and help them into home ownership. So
yeah, I agree. And the challenge is to be better.
The next chapter.
Yep.
So tell me, what's new with you?
Oh gosh. So, I mean, since the last time we saw each other, so much is new, but on a personal level, my husband and I are getting settled into our new, supposed to be forever home. He tells me I'm not allowed to buy anymore. So we'll see how long that lasts.
Congratulations.
We did just buy a second home in a place he's vacationed for 40 years. So so we're super excited about that. On a business level, the Rife Group has really stepped up to the challenges that we've been faced with this past year, as well as the last couple of years in our industry as a whole. And we're growing. I'm really proud to say that all of my team members have remained with me from when we moved from our old firm to our new firm, which is Compass. So we've got lots happening.
I saw that. I saw you're now at Compass. And what did that happen? Like a year ago or so? I can't.
We are celebrating our second anniversary in 11 days. So we've been there 2 years.
Well, we lost kind of a year in pandemic. So who knows what was going on? People were moving all around right prior to that. It seemed like a lot of movement in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's one of the biggest, call it fortitude or luck. We could not be happier with the change that we made at the time we made it, especially with the unexpected that happened in our industry.
Yeah,
and the world, but our industry specifically.
That's excellent. So what does your team look like today?
So we are made up of 11 and a half people. We took a person and cut them right in half. No, we have 9 full-time agents. We have 2 full-time support team members. And then we have a personal assistant who works with us part-time.
Oh, busy, busy, busy.
Yes.
Yes. And what are you looking to accomplish this year? I know you had a lot last year. You said you're working on systems and processes and tightening everything up.
Yeah. So during the pandemic, Compass was amazing. Compass stepped in, put in a virtual platform for us, was doing trainings every day. They weren't focused on, they were checking in on us, but they weren't focused in on just saying, okay, guys, hang in there. Like, it'll get better. They really put people in place, hired people to create these virtual platforms for us. So that was amazing from a sales perspective. But from an operations perspective, it was difficult because it was changing our entire wheelhouse that we had put into place for the last, my business has been in existence since 2013. So my operations team and I made a choice. We said, okay, we can either just roll through this and let it be what it's going to be, or we can dive into our systems and maximize them to be the best that they're going to be. So my operations team and I literally spent 3 hours a day on the phone with each other and went into system by system and improved it and put it into the platforms, technical platforms that we've wanted for years, but we were always too busy. So I am incredibly proud of my operations team because we could have crumbled and just started fighting with each other because we were mad at the world and mad at each other. And we created a way to make it a win-win and be the solution.
Right.
for a very difficult time. And ultimately, it's helped our sales team. So it has been incredibly rewarding, not only within the Rife Group, but then Compass and the tools that they've offered us. It's just been a natural pairing for the Rife Group. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. What kind of technology are you using?
So Compass actually has a really before Compass we had Brivity, and we still have Brivity. Ben Kinney's system is fantastic. Their customer service is bar none. So we've got this affinity to them that's just great.
And Ben is just a great guy.
And Ben is Ben, right? But then Compass has this really, really amazing platform that we are now starting to adapt. So we have both. And having two systems isn't ideal. However, having two systems that have two maximum strengths in completely different areas has really helped our business and communications with our clients. So we're currently using the Compass platform and the Brivity platform.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot to manage.
It's a lot. But each team member can manage their own, right? So if they only want to use Brivity, they can only use Brivity. If they only want to use Compass, they can only use Compass. The operations team has to use both for varying reasons. But our systems, again, we spent all that time working through it. So it's kind of like clockwork for us right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of things did you tighten up?
All kinds. Listing process, the buying process, communications. We set up some automatic communications. That way our clients didn't feel lost in the process. Sure. Because we know that we're working, but sometimes we're working so hard and so fast, we forget to tell our clients what we're doing, or we tell them really late in the day. So improving those systems has given back the operations team some of their time, and it's improved communications with clients, which is really great.
We want to have everybody on the same page.
Yep. And the other big thing is something that I started in 2016 or 17. It's called Rife Rewards. And it's a way that we give back to our clients over the years and throughout the year. And it's fun and it's rewarding, hence the name Rife Rewards. It's been really difficult with the pandemic because we do a lot of getting together. We go to concerts, we go to bowling alleys. We just do things that are interactive. We haven't been able to do that this past year. So we, like so many other businesses and teams in real estate, came up with some different options. So we set up virtual bingo. We did a virtual cooking night. We just started to create things that were virtual. I mean, as much as I love the interaction of people, we just created a way to keep doing that, to get people out of their own way and hopefully help with their mental health.
Yeah. Do you have a private Facebook group for that?
I do. No, you cannot be a part of it. No, I'm just kidding.
Nicole. I used to do a raving fan club years back. And then it's like I think back and go, why did I stop doing that?
Because you got probably distracted with something because it's just so fast and furious, right?
Yeah, it's so fast and furious. But we are implementing, a similar type of program at some point this year once we have all the right people in place.
Yeah.
It's a constant growing. Well, with marketing, right? We have a couple people in our marketing department, and marketing is a big thing, and we're actually going to triple down on that. So
yeah. And for us, it's just rewarding, right? Because we go through this whole 6 to 8 weeks of working with somebody. It's like a Match.com. You have this amazing relationship in most cases, and you talk all the time, and you're texting, and then you settle, and then you don't talk except for maybe a Christmas card or a holiday card, I should say, or a pie at Thanksgiving, when really you want to talk all the time because you built these amazing relationships. Yeah. So it's something for us, particularly for me as a team owner, that's really important. And I talk to people all the time, and normally I would forget their names. I would remember their address, but I would forget their names. Now I know their address and their names.
I love it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's exciting.
So are you having, did you plan your first back to get together outing yet?
Now I'm thinking about doing a Phillies game. That way people feel safe, because we'll be outside. I would limit it, but I haven't quite yet just because we did do a very small bingo night for our platinum level members. We did a bingo night at a Bridget's Steakhouse, which is right across the street from our office in Ambler. And we limited it to 16 people. We had 4 tables of 4. and it was safe. It was, individually served. It wasn't buffet style. So, and it went over really well. But there was still a lot of apprehension from some of those that didn't attend, who wanted to attend. So, and that was during St. Patty's Day.
Okay.
So I'm just going to give it a little bit more time, but I'm thinking we're going to do a Phillies game as long as they do great. I mean, if they're boring to watch, it won't be fun.
Well, they have all kinds of stuff going on over there. So
Yeah.
just being together, right?
Yep.
No, I like the Phillies game idea. I think by, let's see, we're in May. I'd say another 6 to 8 weeks. I think things are going to be pretty much opened up.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things too here, Kent and I bought this beautiful home, and it's just the two of us and our puppies.
Where is it?
In Bluebell. And so we met this woman at one of our favorite restaurants a few years ago, and I politely hounded her until she was ready to sell. And it's got great outdoor space. And so we love entertaining. So we'll probably do another white party here this year. We did do one last year. We set it up very safe. But this year, I think we'll do it a little bit bigger. So we'll have it catered. We'll have the white party here. We have the pool, we have the tennis court. We'll have, bocce ball set up and all the fun stuff. So I think we are going to do that. We'll probably do that one before it gets too hot this summer. If we don't do it in the beginning of the summer, we'll definitely do it at the end of the summer.
So you got yourself a compound.
We did.
Well,
we don't live in the house. We just live outside.
Yes, I've been looking for one of those.
Yeah. Well, you can't really find those in the city, though.
No, not in the city. Just a little outside of the city.
Okay. I'll have to let you know when my neighbors sell.
Well, I have let's see. Since the early 90s, I've lived in town. So how many years is that? 30 years.
Okay.
So everybody needs a change from time to time.
I like it.
Well, I like to entertain too, and I can't entertain in my little townhouse in the city. It kind of gets cramped. Too many people in one spot. We used to be able to, but we won't do that again. Not with just the way the world's changed, social distancing and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Nicole, because you do a lot of work. We do some work in the burbs, but you do some work downtown. But you do a lot of work in the counties. And so I'm curious to hear about what it is that you're doing and how you're setting yourself apart in this in the market that we're in today.
I love this question because right now, the media reports or Facebook posts are saying, for every one house, there's 75 showings and 30 offers. And yes, that is true. It's not that that's false. That's just not every circumstance. So one of the things that we as a team at the Rife Group talk about and focus on is being I'm going to say it again, being a solution for our clients, because we need to find out what this, in a buying situation, right? We need to find out what the seller's goals are. Is it money? Is it timing? Is it the least disruption? Are they trying to get into another house? So it's really finding out what the solution is for the selling side for our buyers. And once we figure that out, putting a game plan together that works. And so, just like you said, the majority of our business is in the suburbs. The only business we come into town for is for personal referrals, because I do believe the city market and the suburbs are very different. I can say I personally don't come into the city very much for work, for enjoyment, absolutely, but not for work. So it has been a challenging year in that regard, and low inventory, tons of people, tens of dozens of people competing for the same house. But we have been very thoughtful and strategic in communicating within our group, and then communicating with our co-ops to make it a win-win solution for everybody. I'm not saying we win every list or buying opportunity that we present, but we have been pretty successful. We're doing okay. So as long as we can keep that going.
We're not going to win everyone, even us, the experts, right?
Yep.
We're not going to get it. But I think it's important, though, for people to realize that you really do need an expert in your corner today.
Yeah.
And you need to have a team who's done a lot of transactions, who's walked through this before. I remember this market, actually. I wasn't in the industry yet. I was a few years shy of it. But it was in 2002. And I had a condo. I had purchased 2 years before that. And it's just like a crazy story, Nicole, but I was a FSBO buyer, and the house was a FSBO seller. Anyway, I got a great deal. And in 2 years, I bought the condo for 108,000, and I sold it for 220.
It's great.
And the market was like this. It was offers and things selling crazy, and people are like, I want to take advantage of this opportunity because this might not come around. It comes around about every 20 years or so. You see like this frenzy that happens approximately. But it reminds me of that. And I look at it and say, we're going to put the offers in as best as we can and communicate the best that we can with everybody. But with all that said, there's got to be ways that I look at it like there is inventory. It's just not on the market.
Yep. You have to go and find it. We have to be hunters.
So you found your house. You said to the lady, when you're ready, I'm going to buy this house. And how long how patient were you?
I politely hounded her for 2.5 years because I wasn't eavesdropping, but I did hear her talking to her girlfriend about, her husband had passed away and she was thinking about downsizing, but her kids were still living with her, but she felt like her kids were living with her to just give her, so she wasn't alone. Can't think of what the word is. Comfort. Yeah. But they had lived there 37 years here at this house. And so if she put it on the market, a developer would have bought it and knocked it down. And so as soon as I heard that, I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but where's your house? And when I learned where it was, it's exactly in this little pocket that my husband and I want to be in or wanted to be in. And she let us into her house right away. She had us over that next week. So I said to my husband, Kent, I think she's pretty serious. We just have to be patient. And we didn't have to leave our house. Our previous home was beautiful and gorgeous and decked out the way we had wanted it. It just didn't have a pool. And we waited, and then it came and everything happened. And everything happens at the time for a reason. And we have spent the pandemic here together without kids to distract us. And at our old house, we would have probably been living in 2 separate homes.
Imploded?
Yes. And at this house, we each have our own location.
Wing?
Yeah. He'll either be outside, I'll be inside, I'll be in the master, he'll be in the living room. The dogs have their own space. It's just been really nice.
That's excellent.
We actually don't want to leave.
I know. You have a pool now?
We do.
And a tennis court?
And a tennis court. You'll have to come visit. Come visit.
I'm so jealous. Do you play tennis?
I did. Yeah. Pretty sure that's why I hurt my back this summer.
So we'll play tennis. You can teach me.
Absolutely. And then we went and got a ping pong table because all of our friends bring their kids over. So since I can't play tennis right now, I'm like, I can play ping pong. So now we've got a ping pong table. So you got to come over.
That's fun. That's fun. And a bocce court.
And a bocce court.
See, all the things. See, Nicole, I don't know what's going on with this, but these are all the things I wrote down. I had a Facebook memory pop up. It says, I want to buy a compound. And then had all the lists. Yep. I had pool, tennis court, bocce court, outdoor kitchen. I had this whole big list I made. Anyway, we're looking for that house. And
all right. Well, I'll let you know.
We haven't found one.
My neighbor is thinking about selling. It's perfect. I'm telling you, this little low taxes, great proximity to everything. We can be downtown and, with traffic. Without traffic, we can be downtown in 15 minutes. It's great. Yeah. With traffic, it can take a little while.
That's all good stuff. But the point is that there are homes that are available. Mm-hmm. They're just not yet on the market, and going and finding and asking and making those calls and using those relationships that you have and talking to people is really how it's going to get done in today's in today's marketplace, I believe.
I'm going to take that even one step further. One of the conversations that the team and I have all the time, right? Because we have different demographics of people. And I'm learning through experience that the different demographics, they communicate differently, right? So they'll either text or Instagram or send an email. The best strategy, and call me old school or call me old, as some people like to call me on my team. I won't call them out right now, but I will later. You pick up the phone. I mean, I picked up the phone, 2 weeks ago, and I was having a moment, and I said, you know what, I need to get out of my own head. I'm going to call one of the tools that Compass has. It's amazing. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do what my coach says to do. Sky Michaels. I'm pretty sure you know Sky, right?
I do. And
yeah.
I had him on the podcast. He's great.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we used to work together back in the day.
Okay. I thought you guys
around the same time.
Yeah.
He's awesome. I love him.
So he's always like, just use this likely to sell tool. You know, I'm like, okay. So I was just having a moment. I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to this guy. I picked up the phone. I called 6 people from this list, and I got 6 appointments. Then I went on the appointments, and I got 6 listings. And I was like, oh shit, I should have listened to him sooner. Right. Like,
that's pretty impressive, Nicole. You called 6 people.
6 people.
And you converted to 6 appointments, and then you converted to 6 listings.
Correct.
And I'm assuming they are sold or are selling.
Right Correct. Now. Yeah. They're all sold now. Yeah.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And that's just I could have texted, I could have emailed, I could have taken what I call a passive approach, and I could have been waiting, right? Like, oh, are they going to get back to me? Do they want to talk to me? Instead, I just said, hey, miss you, haven't talked to you in a while. I know that you've been seeing our stuff. Question, your house is up about 17%. You interested in selling? And they're like, ooh, 17%. I said, yeah. Now listen, you got to be patient because they're going to find you a place to go. But if we can take that money, then you can afford more. And we went through this whole process, and they were like, yeah, come on out. So we did.
So now, and then you sold them all new homes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is how it's done, folks.
Drop the mic.
Just like that. Bam. Right?
Yep. And again, I just think that picking up the phone, we have so many awesome tools, right? Technology tools. They're amazing. But that human interaction is what real estate is. And that's why I got into the business, because I love connecting with people on all different levels. And so many people don't do that with all the tools that we have available. When you do that, you see such a big difference.
Yeah, no doubt. Nicole, what do you think makes a great salesperson today?
Oh gosh, there is nothing that beats communication. Hands down, communication is the top skill set that I think any sales, it doesn't matter if you're selling widgets or if you're selling real estate. The second thing I think is having systems and process in place. Because if you're always chasing your tail, not knowing what you're going to do next, you're going to drop some balls along the way, and your clients are going to feel that. The other thing is always continuing to strengthening your sales skills, right? Talking to people like yourself, talking to people that do more than you. You know, it's been stated that you're the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. Right now, you can't really hang out with people. So you have these virtual conversations just to re-engage your skill set and learn. You've always got to be in a learning mode. And I remember you and I first met at having lunch at the Palm. I was still over in the Bryn Mawr office. So I bet it was like 2012, maybe.
For sure.
Because
I was at my old company.
Yeah. And I remember you telling me the volume of business that you did at that time. And I was like, oh man, I can't wait until I can do that. I had never even dreamed of doing that. Right. I had just thought I was, the shizzle with the number I was doing then. And when I sat with you and I heard that, I'm like, wow, like I can really grow this into a business. And it was having conversations like that with you and some other people that encouraged me to have this business that I have today, because I have a business. I have a business that if I'm away for a month because I wanted to go to Italy with you, it would not fall apart. And without support of people like you and others like Sky or my other coach, I would be chasing my tail saying, okay, what do I do next? How do I get there? But if you follow the path that others have left for us, you can be quite successful.
100%. I think that, well, a couple things that you mentioned. One, coaching. So you have not one coach, two coaches, right?
I
Right.
do.
Me too. I have two coaches.
Yeah, it's just sometimes good, sometimes bad. But they have
Well,
different
no.
areas. Yeah.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
if you're not crying one day or like about to throw up,
Yeah.
then you're not in the right space, right?
Right.
Not all. I say this: I want people. I don't want to be yes to death, right? Because I got enough of that,
Yep.
right? And I tell my staff, same thing. Tell me the truth. Be transparent. Um, anyway, going back for a second, coaching is super duper important. And here's the thing, Nicole, anybody can do anything that they want to do. You just can't do everything.
Right.
So once we identify what it is that we want, anybody can build the business of their dreams. It's here for the taking, whether it's in real estate or another. Real estate, though, does provide an amazing career path for people, especially in an organization like yours where you have the systems and processes in place that an agent can just plug into your system.
Right.
And
Well, and that's why we work 80 hours a week. So we don't have to work a 40-hour-a-week job, right? We have that give and take, but we do give a lot, but it's worth it.
yeah. And then the other thing is that I always say I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be in the room. I call myself like yes, do we do a lot of business? Are we very successful? Yes, but the people that I hang out with in the national landscape, right? I'm like the baby agent. And I'm okay with that.
And that's how you get
For
bigger
now.
and better and learn and grow. I mean, look, you started this podcast how long? A year ago?
Yes, April 1st. So 13 months.
And you could have crumbled. We're people, we're extroverts. We thrive around that outside energy. You could have just said, all right, I'm just going to go to my office and file some stuff and clean up some old files and shred some stuff. You didn't do that. You said, I'm going to create something I've maybe wanted to do for a while. I don't know that. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm sitting here with you a year later on something that you could have done for 3 months and then said, that was fun. But look what you've done. I mean, I've watched some of my amazing colleagues and our mutual friends on your podcast. So, and I'm excited to be here.
That's awesome. No, I could have given up because it's like, okay, so I'm tracing down like people like you, right? Type A people, chasing them down. You want to be on the podcast? Oh, yeah. I send the email, crickets. I send the email again. I'm just following up on this. So, it's easy because it takes time. Everything takes time. But if you're dedicated to something and you're consistent, people say, well, does that thing you do work? You do these videos and you do this thing. I said, well, I don't know. I get calls every day. I'd like to talk to you about working with you, or I like to talk to you about listing the property, or I see your stuff. The days of attribution are really difficult, like to figure out where everything your business, so to speak, comes from. But we know that we need to be everywhere, right? So we know we need to go out there and to be online and to be in video and hopefully be in person again. But since we couldn't do any of that, we had we do the word pivot, but
yeah, it's a perfect word,
right? And figure out how to get it done.
So what, if I can ask you, I mean, I'm not the interviewer, so you can just tell me to stop.
This is just a conversation.
What's one thing for you in your business that you really changed through this pandemic? Because when the pandemic, for us, when we were reopened, it was like, it was like a horse race. Like gates went up, we all just went, and we were like, oh my God, like this is crazy. Like how did you guys handle that?
So it was pretty, so what we did during pandemic when we were closed for the 10 weeks is we talked to our clients nonstop. Past clients, it's asking people how they were doing. The people that wanted to go to the next step and actually do sell the property, we stacked the listings. So we said we're going to go live once we open the gate, once we open back up. So we did go live, and then we had like a couple weeks of great, and then they try to burn Center City down.
That was awful.
And then they pilfered West Philly and Kensington and Armingo Avenue. And so the summer was the summer of social unrest and rioting and things. It was really hard to be here. It was really hard to be in the city. I actually have chills right now, even just saying that. I want to cry
Yep.
because it was a tough place to be. And look, some people left and some people are still leaving. And there's people, though, coming from New York. And, so what we had, like, a good momentum, but we weren't like other markets, like the burbs. And we weren't like other markets all over the country where real estate was just going crazy. Here, it was a weird place.
Yep.
And I said to some of my clients, like, look, if you want to sell, you got to make the market. They're like, what do you mean? I go, you have to be the market. We have to be the number one best priced property to get sold in this price range. It was such a weird thing because all these other places were having a different effect. But if you look into the cities, you'll see a lot of the cities, was like that. And then what we did was I basically reworked my entire business from a standpoint of how we operate. I took 2 people that were on more of the sales side and brought them back into operations.
Oh, okay.
Internal operations on the sales end. Lisa, who was more doing like ISA, inside sales, brought her back into production, being the production manager of overseeing. My allergies are super bad.
Oh gosh, it's so horrible. And the rain today is probably making it worse because it's like
I just have
bringing
tears like streaming down my face. I'm not crying right yet. Not yet. And we reworked and we restaffed, and I really sat down and said, what do I want? And for years, I was just like, we had a small group, and I just kept building my marketing machine, and it was kept growing and growing. And so then I decided we were going to bring in team members. So we started towards the end of last year to do that. So
oh
it's
good.
been, yeah, and we're growing, we're hiring all across the board, every position, sales, but also like 5 back office people, because we're going to continue to grow, and I'm not going to continue to ever stop, attracting talent to my company.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
So it's been,
Yeah, you had challenges that we only experienced in the news and via friends. The rioting, the boarding of looting,
I was
fires.
scared. I was scared they were going to break the windows of my office.
Yeah, especially with where your office is located. Absolutely. I'll share this story, and I don't want to dwell on it because it's not. It's positive. It's empowering in one way, but it's not the most positive story. But I had a client out here in the suburbs. They were in their Florida home, and we had a contract. They had it previously listed. We sold. I listed it. Made some changes to the inside using Compass Concierge. We listed it for a little bit more than they previously had it listed. We sold it in 6 days, right? Great story. Well, the clients are in Florida, no idea what's going on here. Some kid calls them and says, hey, I saw it for sale sign in your yard. I've been your neighbor for a really long time. I want to buy your house. Well, they gave him my number. I didn't call him back right away because at that particular moment, I was trying to get one of my younger agents out of the city. He lives in the city, and I was trying to figure out how to get him out of there. And I remember driving up, starts with an H, runs parallel with Ridge, Henry. Driving up Henry, and outside the Dunkin' Donuts was an armed guy with machine guns. And I'm like, really? This is the world we're living in? And at the end of the day, my client calls and says, why didn't you call that buyer? And I'm like, how do I answer this? How do I answer this? I'm like, keep calm. And I said, you know what? I'm doing the best thing for you. I'm going to call them back right now and let them know that the house is under contract. But because they weren't here and they weren't experiencing it, they didn't feel like, I can't imagine what you felt being there. I know what I felt being on the surface of it, just out here in the suburbs. But I don't think unless you were there, you could really understand it, because it was scary.
No, and it was hard to walk people through it who weren't even here to try to make them understand what was going on. I said, I had the same conversations, Nicole, over and over and over and over again, to the point where I had to get myself I have headsets, all kinds of headsets, all kinds of gear over here, right? This goes to my phone. This is for the, right? Look, this one I can't tell you what happens. But I had to get this thing because what happened was I was standing up at my desk here I have a
Mhm.
stand. You can't see it, but to the right of me here is a stand up. So I'm standing up and I'm on the phone. And I could only walk so far with the thing. And I'm now like this because of the same conversation. I'm pacing back and forth and I'm getting
Yeah.
loud. Not loud like yelling at them, just
No, just having conversation.
because it was mentally draining.
Hmm.
Mentally draining to say the same thing over and over. Well, let's see. We have a pandemic going on. The city's under curfew right now. We can't leave the house past
Hmm.
8 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever it was, some crazy
Yeah, it
nonsense,
was early. Yeah.
right? There's nobody on the streets. Agents aren't showing properties because you can't go out after this time,
Hmm.
right? They burnt down 2 buildings in Center City last week. You have this thing, then they had the cops that killed the guy in the West
Yeah.
Philly because he was mentally challenged and all kinds of things. And the list goes on, and it was the same conversation like 10 times a day. I was exhausted.
Well, and that's, the empowering part of that I forgot to mention during my story was, learning through people like you through my career and having the mentors and being surrounded by the peers that I am. That was the first time in my career I almost fired somebody. I mean, I just don't fire people. I just deal with it and move on and take everything as a learning step. And I thought to myself, all right, do I fire this person because they're not understanding? Or do I take this as a learning opportunity to educate myself and to educate them? And I actually took the latter. I said, you know what, I'm going to try this first. And if this doesn't work, then I'm going to say, you know what, we shouldn't be working together. Even though we were under contract, it was a great deal. I obviously would have been professional and finished it for them. But I thought at this point in my career, I want to be with people who really want us to work for them. And that was a really big aha moment for me because, like I said, when we first met, almost a decade ago, I would have done anything and everything and just taken and taken and taken and taken. But for my own mental health, I just couldn't do that anymore. And to do that to my team members. So, I've learned a lot through this pandemic, and I try to continue to share that with my team, share that with my peers, share that with my colleagues in different industries and say, you set the standard, you control how people treat you, you control the type of business that you want, and you control the outcome ultimately. So you set that stage. You set it how you want. If you want it to have rainbows and unicorns, have rainbows and unicorns. If you don't, then don't. And it's been those real conversations that we've had in our office. They've been pretty cool because I've learned a lot about my team. As individuals, I've learned a lot about them collectively as a team. And it's helped me grow. Things before I would have been like, no, we're not doing that. Now I'm like, all right, tell me why. Help me understand it differently. And I'm like, all right, they're right. So it's been really good.
Yeah. Setting boundaries and expectations.
Yeah.
And then holding people accountable to them. They said, we can't take the action for you. We can just facilitate an environment, to have a great experience, whether that's internally or externally.
Yep.
And one of the things that I've learned is you attract what you put out, right?
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is opportunity cost. So if that drains your energy, then your energy is going to be negative because
you're exhausted.
You're
Yeah.
exhausted, right? So the opportunity cost, when people are all on the same page and we're all working towards the same common goal, whether that is to help you sell more real estate or to get the property sold the highest and best price, we want to do it so that we're all aligned, and because that feels good, and then that brings better positive energy back to you, right? So I do believe in the positive visualizing and bringing the positive energy to the universe and putting out there what you want, not what you don't want.
Yep.
I think
Makes
we're
a
on the
huge
same page for
difference.
that because that's why we connected a decade ago, almost a decade ago. Like we instantly, I was like, girl, we got to get lunch, some drinks. I don't know if we had any drinks at lunch because I'm not like a lunch drinker.
Nah, we were well behaved that day.
We were, yeah. No, I can't have the drink at lunch because I then get tired. I can't hang.
We have too much to do.
I have too much to do, and I can't be loopy coming back to the office. So
Yeah.
once in a blue moon, I'll have a celebration with somebody, and I'll have a glass of red wine with lunch or something. But
Yeah.
rare. It's a rare. And nowadays, I think I went out to lunch twice this year.
Oh, really?
Twice. I went to and at both times I went to park.
Well, you need
Oh
to
no,
put
3
that
times.
back into your schedule. You
3
need-
times lunch.
absolutely need to put that back in your schedule because you
went
have
to
so much
park.
wisdom to share with younger agents.
I'm getting back this week. I told you I'm going tomorrow to an event. I'm flying in the plane, and I am back on the circuit. So I'm back
Good.
back to doing the normal things that we used to do.
Oh, that's great.
Some
Good.
Some
Yes.
of them. So Nicole, what's in store for you for 2021 and beyond? What are you looking to do?
Yeah. So health is my biggest focus right now.
Yes.
One of the things I really learned through 2020 was health, both physical health and mental health. So that is a big priority for me. I'm not going to lie. If something doesn't feel good within my business, for me, I'm going to offer it to another team member. If it doesn't feel good for them, we're gonna pass on the opportunity. And that means I'm talking about all gamuts of business, right? Events, clientele, sponsorships, whatever that option might be. I'm looking to grow the team. So we are looking for experienced agents who have about 2 to 3 years of experience who want to take their business to the next level. One of my favorite stories is an agent who's been with me now for about 3.5 years. He came to me, he was selling about $1.5 million at the time. And he had a lot of and we joke about this together. So I'm not telling tales out of school. But he was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to be in a team. I'm going to start my own team, that whole mentality. And
I do.
Here we are 3.5 years later, and he's selling about $20 million a year. And I'm so proud of him. And he's just a rock star. He brings in some really cool leadership to the team. And we have a great relationship. We don't always agree. Yeah, we don't always agree, but we have a respectful balance for when we don't agree. Helps me look at things differently, helps him look at things differently. So I'm excited about having more opportunities like that in 2021 and in 2022. And we're looking to take that 2.5 administrative people that we have up to 3 to 4 full-time administrative people. And we want to sell 100 million. That's the goal. We're getting there.
Yeah,
So,
you're going to do it.
Yeah, we're getting there. So we've got some amazing team members from, my operations team. Their energy is contagious and infectious to anybody that you're around. My sales team, they're wild and crazy, and the stories that they share amongst each other, it's like a sister brotherhood, and I love seeing it. It really is rewarding me. It reminds me of my basketball days. Basketball was my favorite sport, and I love it. I love having that back in my life. So
It's a lot of good things that you said. I mean, one of the things that I like that you shared just now was how, you brought somebody in who was newer in the business, and, doing 1.5 million is not much business, but you saw something in him to give him the opportunity, and now he's a superstar. And that's because he wanted it, and he took the action, and you provided him the platform to do so within your company.
I mean, I get messages from our friends that have been my personal friends. How long have I been a member of that organization? For 13 years. 13 years. And these people know me personally and professionally. And they'll be like, hey, I was just hanging out with so-and-so. And I'm like, where was my invite? Right? Like, they're like, oh, we like him better. I'm like, I love it. I'm like, you guys, you're not my favorites anymore, but that's okay.
That's great.
It's all in great fun.
That's awesome. So do you listen to any podcast or have read any books lately? Or
I read a lot. I read about 40 books a year.
Wow.
Podcasts for me, I struggle just because of my ability to focus. But I did get the Peloton. I am using the Peloton. It's not being used as a coat hanger. So
that's awesome.
So it is something that is on my goal to do. So do you have recommendations?
Oh, there's a lot. I mean, depending on what whether you're looking for real estate or, um, you know,
Yeah,
self-help,
my goal
motivational.
this year is really mental and physical health. That for me is something I realized that in growing the business, I really put as secondary. And I'm proud that I have the team I do today, because now I can make that a primary. Because the more I make that a primary, the more it helps them. So
Well,
it's a great thing.
you know the saying, when you're on the plane, you got to put your oxygen mask on
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
'Cause we have to take care of ourselves first in all
Okay.
ways. In all ways. So I listen to like a lot of different things. This morning I was listening to this. It's called Sales Velocity
Oh, okay.
by Tom Ferry. It's very interesting if you haven't listened to it. It's my second time listening to it. But there's like a long list of podcasts, so I can send it to you.
Yeah. The book I just finished reading, and I read it twice, because the first time I read it, it didn't resonate. It wasn't in the right headspace. But it's by Jocko, and it was the Navy SEAL.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's sitting in my kitchen. I'm in my dining room. I can't get it right now.
It's a black book.
Yep.
Yeah.
Extreme Ownership.
Extreme. Yeah.
Amazing book. Amazing book. Whether you're from a parent perspective or a business owner perspective. First time I read it, I just wasn't in the right headspace. Second time I read it, I was like, oh, this is what Sky's been talking about. And it's made some big differences for me in the business, which is great. So I highly recommend that book.
It's a powerful book. I listen to David Goggins and Anthony Frisella. There's so many. Brene Brown. I still love her. Brene Brown. Dare to Lead is a good book. I'm reading a bunch of things right now. I just got this book, Mastering Change.
Oh, okay. Let me know how it is.
Power of Mutual Trust and Respect in Personal Life, Family Life, Business, and Society. Ashok Adizes. It was recommended. My coach said, get the book. And so we're going to be reading. Well, he read the book, so I have to read the book. It just came in the Amazon.
You can read it on the plane when you fly.
I can read it on the plane tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll get it done because, first, I actually probably could, but it's very heavy reading.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually like just, this is going to be a book that you take in chunks.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the Jackie Collins novel.
Right.
How much sex can you have on the beach?
Right.
I digress. Nicole, you've been fantastic today. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you're doing in your personal life and business life, and for being the solution to your
thank you for having me, and thank you for being a leader to me personally. I'm never going to forget our lunch and or our dinners together, and our conversations. So I'm proud to be here today. It's I don't know, warms the cockles of my heart, they say, right?
I appreciate you. I'm grateful for our friendship, even though we haven't talked in a couple of years. I love when you can just meet with somebody and pick up right where you left off, right? And it's powerful and important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we will have to arrange for sometime this summer a get together.
I love it. Come out to the compound.
We will. I'm taking you up on that offer.
All right. I love it.
Thank you. Mwah.
Bye.